Good morning, friends. Today we are going to study about respiratory physiology. Hypoxia. Hypoxia. What is hypoxia means? There is less oxygen in the tissues, right? So if there is less oxygen in the tissues, that means at that time the tissues vasodilate, bring more blood to that place. Therefore, if there is more blood, there is more RBC, and if there is more RBC, RBC is someone who is carrying oxygen, right? So if there is more RBC, more oxygen is coming. And who is carrying oxygen inside RBC? It is hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is someone who is carrying, functionally, this oxygen is being carried by hemoglobin. Okay, we understood that. Now, we have a formula for hypoxia. Actually, hypoxia is caused if there is decrease in the oxygen delivery to the tissues, right? If oxygen delivery is reduced, then hypoxia is happening. Understand? So for oxygen delivery, there is an equation that we have to know. It's very easy. It's very logical actually. Let's see. So what is the factors that determine oxygen delivery to tissues? First of all, how many blood is coming? How much blood is coming? That is actually what determines oxygen delivery. First thing, it is cardiac output. Cardiac output is the amount of blood that is flowing, right? Okay. That is pumped out by heart. That is cardiac output. Okay. So if there is more cardiac output, then there is more oxygen also, right? But not for sure, because even if there is a lot of blood, there are conditions where there is no oxygen, because if blood is there, but the person who have to carry this blood, this oxygen inside the blood is absent. Who are these people? Maybe RBC or maybe hemoglobin. Understand? So then you have to plus 1.39 into hemoglobin concentration. If hemoglobin concentration is less, there are no person to carry oxygen to that place. So cardiac output will be more. Hemoglobin concentration is less. So that's one thing. Into hemoglobin percent saturation. Percent saturation of hemoglobin. That means maybe even blood is there, cardiac output is there, hemoglobin is also there, but this hemoglobin is not binded with the oxygen. Why is it not binded? Maybe hemoglobin is binded with carbon monoxide. We said if carbon monoxide poisoning is there, and then there is a competition between carbon monoxide and oxygen to bind with hemoglobin. There are two people and hemoglobin is there. You have to choose between carbon monoxide and oxygen. And hemoglobin chooses carbon monoxide because he have 240 times more affinity to carbon monoxide than oxygen. Understand? So carbon monoxide is the sexier one here. So he chooses carbon monoxide. So that's what happens. And therefore, there is less hemoglobin saturation, percent saturation. The amount of hemoglobin, oxyhemoglobin is less. Actually, this can be determined. Percent saturation is determined by pulse oximeter. Hemoglobin saturation. The pulse oximeter is it uses a photo detection method, and we are putting our finger and there is this device, pulse oximeter, which we insert our middle finger actually. That's what we actually do. And if we are putting the middle finger in that pulse oximeter, they actually see if hemoglobin is bounded with oxygen or not. They'll be seeing, hemoglobin is with someone. Okay, that's good. That's what pulse oximeter says. But if you have carbon monoxide poisoning, and we know hemoglobin will be bound with carbon monoxide, right? So pulse oximeter will be saying, hemoglobin is bound with someone, he is committed, so I'm okay. We'll be saying it's normal. But thing is that there is a poisoning of carbon monoxide, right? So in carbon monoxide poisoning, pulse oximeter is useless. Don't use pulse oximeter to check if that person is having carbon monoxide poisoning. So that's one thing. And plus dissolved oxygen. So we have said how many blood is there, amount of blood is there, how many hemoglobin is there, how many hemoglobin is bound with oxygen. Now how many oxygen is dissolved in the blood? That is PaO2. But this factor is multiplied by 0.003. into PaO2. That is the dissolved oxygen, right? Arterial partial pressure of oxygen. Okay. But it is multiplied by 0.003. That means this thing is a factor that determines oxygen delivery, but it has very least, determining quality, because not much contributing to oxygen delivery to tissues. But still it is contributing. Okay. Okay. So this is dissolved oxygen. So how can we calculate dissolved oxygen? Or let's say per se partial pressure of carbon dioxide or oxygen can be measured by ABG. What is ABG? Arterial blood gas. We put in the radial artery, we have a hand, and there is this radial artery, we put the needle and take the blood and measure the partial pressure of oxygen and partial pressure of carbon dioxide. That's how we get partial pressure of oxygen. Needle in this formula, and this can be measured by pulse oximeter. And there is all this stuff. So let's study the pathological conditions which will lead into decrease of any of this factor, leading to decrease in the oxygen delivery, leading to formation of hypoxia. So let's study that. So we said the formula of oxygen delivery to tissue is cardiac output plus 1.39 into hemoglobin concentration into percent saturation of hemoglobin plus 0.003 into partial pressure of oxygen in the dissolved blood. Okay, so these are the things. And so when is the the cardiac output reduced? Cardiac output is reduced when the heart fails. What is cardiac output? The amount of blood that is pumped out by the heart. If there is heart failure, this heart is not able to pump out much of the blood. So that's why there is decrease in the cardiac output. Then if there is decrease in the cardiac output, there is decrease in the oxygen delivery, causing hypoxia. So, and most of this factor decreases when there is hypoxemia. Decrease in the oxygen in blood, not in tissues, but in the blood. If hypoxemia is there, it can cause hypoxia, but most of this factor decreases if there is hypoxemia. What causes hypoxemia? There is hypoventilation. A person is not able to breathe, it is hypoventilation. And the other one is maybe it's due to neuromuscular diseases like AML or myasthenia gravis and stuff. So if there is neuromuscular disease, it can cause hypoxemia because these muscles are not able to provide strength for respiration. And now other thing is that the person may be moved into an altitude. So the partial pressure in the atmosphere for oxygen, carbon dioxide is reduced, and therefore that person can have hypoxemia. If partial pressure in the atmosphere is reduced, obviously the partial pressure in the alveoli will be reduced. So obviously the partial pressure in the arterial system will be reduced, right? So that's one thing, hypoxemia, which contribute to hypoxia. There is this is cardiac output that is reduced due to heart failure. Now hemoglobin concentration is reduced at what? Anemia. Anemia, maybe iron deficiency anemia, vitamin B12 deficiency anemia. Those are the things that are required for formation of RBC, right? If RBC formation is reduced, therefore hemoglobin concentration is reduced, then the oxygen delivery to tissue will be reduced. The person who have to carry oxygen is not there. So hypoxia will be there. And now percent saturation. We said this, it may be due to carbon monoxide poisoning, or maybe because there is methemoglobinemia. You know this thing, Fe2 plus is converted to Fe3 plus. So this hemoglobin is no more binding. The hemoglobin's ion is there, right? Fe is there in the heme. So that hemoglobin's Fe2 plus is converted to Fe3 plus by NO, Dapsone, and benzocaine, lidocaine. Right? We have learned this benzocaine, lidocaine. So all this thing can convert Fe2 plus to Fe3 plus. And what is the treatment method? Methylene blue. Methemoglobinemia. Treatment method? Methylene blue. And what is the symptom? Chocolate colored blood. Understand? And in carbon monoxide poisoning, what is it? Cherry red lips. Understand? And this thing cannot be, diagnosed by pulse oximeter. We have learned that. But percent saturation of hemoglobin is actually calculated by pulse oximeter. This is 0.003 into PaO2. What is PaO2 is calculated by ABG. Okay. So we have learned each pathological conditions. Now let's move into alveolar gases. So previously we have discussed about oxygen delivery to tissue and what are the factors that are determining oxygen delivery to tissues, and all that are logical things. You don't have to by heart anything in there, because the blood should be there to give the oxygen, and the hemoglobin there should be there to give the oxygen. Hemoglobin that is bound with oxygen should be there, that is the percent saturation, and also dissolved oxygen should also be there, which is the least contributing factor anyway. We know that from that itself we can formulate the formula. So it's very easy. Now we are going to discuss about alveolar gases. Alveolar gases. Very logical stuff. So we know that in the atmosphere the partial pressure of oxygen is 150 mmHg. Right? And when it comes to alveoli, it decreases. Why it is decreasing? It decreases to 100 mmHg. What is it? Partial pressure on the alveoli, capital A. We denote it with capital A of oxygen is 100 mmHg. Why it is decreasing? Because there is a mixing up with the carbon dioxide. We know that from blood carbon dioxide is produced to the alveoli, and now carbon dioxide from the blood, from the tissues will reach the blood and will diffuse to the alveoli, and the oxygen which is coming, they mix up, and the partial pressure. What is partial pressure? The pressure exerted to the wall. So when the oxygen was there, but the carbon dioxide is also there. So now they both are contributing to the partial pressure, the pressure exerted to the wall. Now the partial pressure exerted to the exerted by the oxygen is reduced by 50 mmHg. Okay. Now here there was 100 mmHg, and now it is reduced to arterial system. When it comes to arterial system, it is reduced to 90 mmHg. What is this? P small a. Arterial partial pressure of oxygen. Okay. So it is reduced to 90 mmHg. Why it is reduced to 90 mmHg? Because when it comes to here, there are some places where shunting is there. There is no alveoli to that place. Shunting. What is shunting actually? See, there is a tissue, and normally arterial system will be there, and capillary system will be there, and the venous system will be carrying that blood out, right? From artery to the capillaries to the venous. But in some places, there will be a direct bypass. It won't enter into the capillary system. When it is not entering into the capillary system, it is bypassing this thing. When we consider the pulmonary system, or when we consider the lungs, we have alveoli instead of this tissue, right? So if that blood is not passing through the alveoli, they are not getting enough. What? If it is bypassing the alveoli, they are not getting enough oxygen. So blood vessel without enough oxygen, and blood vessel with enough oxygen. But still, when it combines, the partial pressure of oxygen will be reduced, right? So that's how it is reducing. The partial pressure of oxygen is reduced to 90 mmHg. So this is the partial pressure in the atmosphere, alveoli and arterial system. This we have to understand. Why it is reducing, we have to understand. I have told you. Now let's discuss AA gradient. AA gradient. What is AA gradient? Let's see. What is AA gradient? AA gradient is the change in the partial pressure of oxygen from alveoli to artery. Okay, it is P capital A O2 minus P smaller O2, which is the A gradient. Okay. So we know it should be 10 mm Hg here, right? When we minus from here and here. But the thing is that we cannot calculate the alveolar partial pressure of oxygen. Instead, we have a formula for that. So we have to know a formula for this. Here, partial pressure in the alveoli for oxygen, it is given by PiO2 minus PaCO2 by R. This is actually what? The formula for P capital A alveolar partial pressure of oxygen is given by inspired air partial pressure of oxygen. That is the atmospheric partial pressure of oxygen. We inspire the atmospheric air, right? So in the atmosphere, what is the partial pressure of oxygen? 150 mm Hg. So 150 mm Hg minus PaCO2 by R. So we said PaO2 and PaCO2 can be measured by ABG, arterial blood gas. We are putting the needle to the radial artery and measuring, taking the blood and measuring the PaO2 and PaCO2. Understand? And what is R? It is respiratory quotient. And what is respiratory quotient? Equal to 0.8 given by a constant. And this is 0.8. Its value is 0.8. So we know both this thing, and we have to calculate this by arterial blood gas. So AA gradient will be equal to what? It will be equal to 150 mm Hg minus PaCO2 by 0.8 minus PaO2. So this and this is calculated by ABG, right? Easily done. So now we got the formula for AA gradient. Now we know how to calculate AA gradient. So if AA gradient is normal, what does it indicates? It indicates the alveoli is functioning perfectly. It is normal. There is no problems to the alveoli. But if AA gradient is increasing, that means the alveolar partial pressure is more and the arterial partial pressure of oxygen is less. That means not enough oxygen is diffusing into the arterial system. That means there is something wrong with the alveoli. Understood? So if hypoxia is there, but alveoli is functioning perfectly, what does it indicate? It indicates that actually the something is wrong with inspiration. It's the ventilation. Not enough oxygen or not enough air is ventilated to the respiratory system. But alveoli is perfectly fine. That's what A gradient is normal. So let's discuss the pathological conditions and so on. Okay. So see, there is hypoxia. Okay. And the A gradient is normal. If A gradient is normal, that remains us with, there is no problem to the lung as a whole, but there is hypoventilation. There is no enough ventilation. Hypoventilation. And there is hypoventilation. That means what? It may be due to decrease in the respiratory rate, or maybe there is neuromuscular diseases like AML, myasthenia gravis and stuff, or maybe it is because that person is in a high altitude. What happens in high altitude? The partial pressure of oxygen and carbon dioxide will be less. So if partial pressure in the atmosphere is less, the partial pressure in the alveoli will be less. If that is there, the partial pressure in the arterial system will be less. That means there is what? There is hypoxemia. Okay. And now, actually, let's say it is hypoxemia. Hypoxemia. What is hypoxemia? Less oxygen in the blood. Which can actually cause hypoxia, right? There is less oxygen in the blood, it can cause hypoxia. Anyway, if hypoxemia is accompanied by AA gradient increasing, if AA gradient is increased along with hypoxemia, that means there is something wrong with the alveoli. Some diffusion problems are there. Understand? So actually it can be a problem to the blood vessel that is supplying to the alveoli, or maybe the alveoli. According to that, we have to divide the lengths into some parts to understand it better. Okay, let's do that. So there are conditions for this. A gradient increasing with hypoxemia. Something is wrong with alveoli and blood vessel or blood vessel. Let's say one thing is diffusion limitation. Diffusion limitation. Okay. The other one is shunting. Dead space. Or V/2 mismatch. We'll be learning each one, and it will be very easy. Now when you look at this, it will be, oh, those are new words. How can I learn that, and what is the principle behind it? Don't worry, let's make it very simple. So thank you guys for listening to this video. We have dealt with hypoxia part 1, and we'll be dealing with hypoxia part 2 in the next video. I hope you all are understanding. If there is any queries, any doubts, please do contact me in my Instagram and WhatsApp number. I'm putting down both of them in the description box below. And if you like this video, like, comment, subscribe, and do the necessary stuff. Okay guys, good luck.